Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being here today. America is spending $40 billion in foreign aid, yet much of that money never reaches the intended recipients. Instead, it gets caught up in bureaucratic inefficiencies and organizations that have not always been transparent with the American taxpayer. A USAID report published in June of 2023 under the Biden administration noted that just 1 out of every $10 reaches the actual people in need abroad. A recent study by the Middle East Forum revealed that USAID awarded $164 million in taxpayer funds to extremist organizations, including $122 million to groups linked to designated terrorist entities. I believe that my colleagues here would agree that this reckless spending has drifted from American interests and instead has benefited foreign interests. It is time that we commit to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse in government funding on programs and initiatives that do not align with American values. American people deserve to know where and how the money is being spent and how they align with the U.S. interest. Mr. Yoho, should this reorganization include a comprehensive forensic audit of USAID spending over the past 4 years, how should this audit identify waste, fraud, corruption, and programs that may have undermined U.S. foreign policy objectives?
Absolutely, but I mean, you could go back years. But it's a great opportunity for bipartisan leadership conducing oversight and defining the priorities and the parameters of future USAID assistance programs. That leads to the certainty that where we're not wavering. It creates continuity in our programs, and it makes us stronger.
Yeah, as you were just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it must be done in a bipartisan effort. If not, it'll go away with when tides change.
Well, as you had just said in your previous answer to another question, you're right. The best policies here and abroad are consistent over administrations.
Sure.
They are transparent with the American people as well as people looking from abroad. And so having that bipartisan strategy and consistency is extraordinarily important. What are ways that you think that we can ensure that they are consistent over time, these policies?
I ponder that. And if you look at, we'll just take the JCPOA and the Paris Climate Accord. President Obama put us in both. President Trump took us out of both. President Biden put us back in both. President Trump takes us out. Stand on the sidelines as another nation looking in at America. They're like, these people don't know what they're doing. We have no confidence that we're exuding. Congress, I think, can direct it as this is the policy of the United States of America and give leeway to the executive branch in times of emergencies. But if we don't have a policy of the United States versus a Democratic Party or a Republican policy, and that's the spoils of winning an election, but they should also focus on what's best for America instead of what's best for a party. And until we do that, we're going to go back and forth on this, and it's up to us and, of course, the American people.
And so how would you, if you were structuring this legislatively and making sure it's bipartisan solutions that's consistent over time, how would you structure that under your best vision?
I think it's just getting consensus and building a bipartisan movement in this, and you've got a great opportunity. You've got this Congress has an opportunity you haven't had in over 40 years with the Supreme Court ruling on the Chevron deference case. The Chevron deference, when that came into effect, allowed the administrative agencies to have all this power. All right, that's been repealed. Congress can go ahead and move forward and say this is what an agency may do. This is what they shall not do. And if we don't do that in a bipartisan way, it's going to go right back to these agencies, and Congress has allowed their powers to be usurped again by administrative agency, and you have administrative law.
And as we're doing that and constructing it, how do we ensure that taxpayer-funded aid does not fall into the hands of corrupt governments, terrorist organizations, or entities that are hostile to U.S. interests, Mr. Yoho?
Define the mission of what you want, and then you have to have that oversight. As Mr. Nazio brought up, you got to approve these things, and you have to have it done now. And I think there should be an immediate review after this stuff. You know, with when you send out a check, you want to get it back. The IRS makes us do that and be accountable for our taxes, and I think we should do the same thing in government programs.
Thank you, Mr. Yoho. I yield
sir.
back my time.
Could I just